Alright, so there I was today, just sitting around finishing up Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, doing some raids, finishing off my Pokédex and whatnot, when I finally decided, let's jump on Showdown, let's have some fun, let's test some teams. And as you guys can see here, today, just in my testing, I went 13-0 on my alt account here. Pretty good day, honestly, especially with a team I've never really used before. Anyway, I just want to go over the team here, see how we built it, see why things do what they do, and then go over a couple replays just to see the power of the team. So when I sat down to team build today, the first Pokemon I really wanted to build around was Roaring Moon. Now, the reason I want to build around Roaring Moon is it is my favorite Pokemon released in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So when we take a look at Roaring Moon here, we see 139 base attack, 119 base speed. This Pokemon is very fast and it has the ability Photosynthesis, which means when this ability is activated, it gets a boost to its primary stat or its highest stat. So in this case, it is attack. Basically, the idea with this set here in particular was one, this mod is very fast and it hits very hard, and two, it has very low defense. So when looking at the moves here, I have gone with Breaking Swipe. The main reason for Breaking Swipe here is because I want to play this more of a bulky and not necessarily supportive Pokemon, because obviously it hits very hard and is still very fast even with low investment. But basically, obviously, this one again has very bad defense. That is why I went for Breaking Swipes over something like, say, a Dragon Claw. And then the speed there is just, yeah, as I said, so at +1, it outspeeds Dragapult. The next mon here that I paired with it is Fluttermane. Now, the reason I wanted Fluttermane is because they're very similar in a sense. They're both very, very offensive Pokemon that are both very weak on the defensive side. So as you can see here, I do have a bit of a funky spread. It's quite tanky. It doesn't have that much special attack. And the reason actually for it being timid over Modest as well is, unfortunately, Modest max speed Fluttermane is 1 speed slower than max speed Roaring Moon. So Jolly max speed Roaring Moon. So this is just, it's basically spec. So right now it is faster and will always be faster. And obviously too, it gets the plus to the speed stat under Photosynthesis, which means it will never be outrun by Roaring Moon. And then obviously, so we've gone Life Orb, Shadow Ball, and Moonblast. Its two best stabs. Pretty obvious why I have all that. And then the other two moves I have here are Trick Room and Imprison. One, obviously Fluttermane and Roaring Moon are both very, very fast Pokemon. They do not want to be under Trick Room. But two, if you have a look at the rest of my team, does not mind being under Trick Room. So there were some situations where I actually did click Trick Room for myself, just to obviously buff up the Torkoal and the Hariyama mainly, the Iron Hands. But then the next mon here I decided to pair with them was Arcanine. And, as I said, both those mons have very poor defense. And this is the best Intimidate user in the game, in my opinion. At least as of right now. So obviously we've got Intimidate there. We have Will-O-Wisp just to try to nerf those physical attackers a bit. We ran Safety Goggles on this just because Spore can be very annoying. And then just the rest of the moves, obviously Flare Blitz allows us to hit hard, especially under Sun with our next mon. E-Speed allows us to pick up KOs on very low HP mons. And then Snarl is again just great utility. Obviously it allows us to, one, hit both mons, but two, also lower their special attack. And then the fourth mon I decided to pair with this team was Torkoal. The main reason for Torkoal being on this team is, as I said, we have two of the Scarlet Paradox forms. Both of their abilities activate under harsh sunlight, and obviously Torkoal gives us that through drought. We went for the Heat Rock just to prolong the amount of turns obviously we can get it for. And then the spread is just a normal Torkoal under Trick Room spread. Actually, this is wrong. I don't know why it's Modest. That's a bit of a fuck up by me. That should be, where is it? Why am I there? It is quiet. Yeah. So, sorry, I stuffed that one up there. I was playing with Modest all day. Lucky that did not affect it. But basically, yeah, obviously, under Trick Room, we just want to throw out Eruptions. We have Flamethrower here over Heat Wave because of Wide Guard, just in case, obviously, it is nice to still have a stab move, but very, very stock standard. I didn't really put much thought into it. As you see, I'm even missing a EV here, so we'll just throw that onto Special Defense because I'm an idiot. And then for the last two slots here, it was basically just trying to figure out mons that would work well with the rest of the team. As I've stated here, obviously Arcanine plus Breaking Swipe is very good at reducing the enemy's physical attack. So I just wanted to use Umbreon with Snarl. And also, Umbreon's just one of my favorite Pokemon, and I really wanted to play it with Calm Mind. So as we see here, obviously we left these in a focus, can't be flinched. But then we have Snarl, Calm Mind. Basically, if there are some games where, especially with a little bit of special attack investment, I could get up to Calm Minds, and then people just ignore me. I just sit there just spamming Snarl on them, doing way more damage than Umbreon should. But yeah, this was a very, very good utility mon, very bulky. Obviously, protect Moonlight, just keeping it alive. Leftovers 2 was actually really good. I think there is one game where the Leftovers saved me. I think I lived on like 3% and I stayed on the board for like 4 or 5 turns and just leftovers every time, so that was fantastic. But yeah, that's basically what Umbreon was for. It was just here to just give us more support. And then the final one here we went with was Iron Hands Hariyama. This mon was, it's one I really wanted to use, and we can see here with the spread, obviously I've gone for AV and then basically just max attack, max HP, negative speed nature, 0 IVs in the speed. Obviously, we just want to be as quick as we can, quick as we can, as slow as we can under Trick Room. And then the moves were one, obviously Fake Out. I think it's a great Fake Out support mon. Stab Close Combat, Stab Wild Charge, and then the Heavy Slam, which can be Stab with the Terra Steel. And that is actually something else I did touch on with the rest of the mons. I'll go over that in a second. But yes, Iron Hands has Quark Drive, which is something you'll like never see used. I think Pink Urge is like the best terrain setter in the game at the moment. Not a very good mon. But yeah, that's all Iron Hands was there for. He was a very good sweeper under Trick Room. I don't know if I ever actually got to fully utilize it, but there was definitely games where mons would come in, ignore, and then it would just one-shot it with just this massive attack stat. But quickly, just to go back over some of the Terra types here, the main one too that I didn't really touch on was the Roaring Moon Steel type. This is just fantastic. Obviously, it keeps its weakness to fighting. That was actually kind of another reason I have Fluttermane on the team as well, because obviously it just doesn't care about fighting mons. And a few of my mons do care about fighting mons. Obviously, Iron Hands, Umbreon, and Roaring Moon, none of them like to be hit by fighting types, and Fluttermane is just really good against them. Fluttermane, we went with the Ghost, I believe. Yeah, basically just to power up its Ghost moves. At +1, this thing like absolutely annihilates Dragapult. It's really, really good into it. And then I think I had normal, never used it. I may have terrestrialized Torkoal once, but again, like fire Torkoal is just massive eruption damage. We also have Ghost on Umbreon. Never clicked it, but it's there just in case I'm up against like some late game fighting type that I need to beat. And then Iron Hands, as I said, was the Steel type. So that's basically the team. As I said, had a very, very successful day with that. I went 13-0 with this team. I'll drop a link. I'll drop a paste bin down below for anyone who I guess wants to try out the team. But by no means is it perfect. Obviously, this is a team I kind of just threw together and thankfully had a lot of success with it. Anyway, let's jump into the battle today and have a look at some of the ones we had here. So for the first battle here, we have a very interesting team by my opponent, Metro VGC. As we can see, he is rocking some interesting mons here. I didn't think this team had some great synergy by any means, but looking at it, definitely scary, definitely has a lot of threats. As I said before, Fluttermane is an absolute monster for Pokemon. So my main the main thought process for me here was basically this guy has a lot of special attackers. Let's try to get the Umbreon out there, and then I think I ended up pairing it up with the Fluttermane if I'm correct. So yeah, that's what I did here. So for me, I felt like this was a really strong lead. Obviously, I thought I was just going to pick up a straight KO here on the Ceruledge. Unfortunately, lived on 3%, kind of scary. And he also goes for the Snarl on my Umbreon. Sorry, the Taunt on my Umbreon while I go for Snarl, which is very interesting. But this is where we start to see the power of Snarl. This just kind of really starts to basically nerf the Gothitelle here. And then here was a very interesting play by my opponent. Unfortunately, I do get Power Flinch there. But as we see here, obviously I dropped the special attack on Gothitelle again, but Kilowattrel was actually competitive, so he goes for the foul play, the air slash, and you just see Fluttermane just tanking a lot of hits there again. Obviously it's another one. I click another foul play, another Snarl, sorry. Basically the reason for Snarl is because I just didn't care about this Kilowattrel, man, honestly. Like it kind of just sat there. It really didn't scare me at all. And then here we bring in Iron Hands. Main reason for Iron Hands here is obviously just to get the fake out pressure onto my opponent here. Obviously, unfortunately, he did bring in the Gyarados here. Probably a misplay on my behalf, but here we go. I just start deciding to click the Calm Mind, and unfortunately too here, I do believe I got flinched. Yeah, so that was a wild charge onto the Gyarados slot there. Another attempt at the flinch comes out. He goes for the DD. I get the Snarl off again, and you see here this +1 Snarl is going to do a lot of damage to Kilowattrel here, but now we're just able to pick up a quick KO onto the Gyarados. And then I felt like I was in a really good spot here. Obviously, he brings out the Chi-Yu here, which is a very, very powerful Pokemon. I bring out the Torkoal here. I'm not sure if this was a misplay by me just because of the sun. Obviously, you see my Umbreon live there on 3%. That's what I was referring to earlier about it just lives. The Snarl does pick up the kill on the Kilowattrel there. Obviously, dropping the special attack 2 here on the Chi-Yu is very, very big. And then we see Mischievous come in here, sorry, the Fluttermane, I should say, come in, and this should just be a free double kill for my opponent. And that it is. Now, obviously, I'm in a situation here where it's 3-on-3. It's not looking the best for me, but we do have Iron Hands ready to go. Now, the main reason I did this here is because, one, I want to click Dragon Dance, and two, I want to make sure my Roaring Moon does not get attacked. So we Terrasilize into the Steel type there. We eat the Dazzling Gleam there very easy, and we set up the DD. Now, this puts us in a really, really interesting spot. So my opponent obviously knows Roaring Moon is my way to win the game, and he goes for the Icy Wind there, which is really good, obviously. And then we see that +2 Iron Head pick up the KO there. And then the Arcanine was able to pick up the KO on the Fluttermane, and we get into an interesting spot here where I know my opponent can one-shot me here. I know he can. So I protect, he throws out the heat wave. Really good play by him. Now, I just want to pause this here, right? E-speed, 35%, right? My opponent's called GG. He thinks it's done, yeah? That heat wave just did 38% damage to my Arcanine. Now watch this. This is where some luck comes in, okay? 37%, oh, sorry, bad scroll there. 37% on that E-speed, right? Now, also, this is where my slow spread on Roaring Moon comes out to bite me in the ass. He clicks the heat wave, kills me, yeah, but 33% to Arcanine. The last one did 38%. So I think he went a max into a min, right? And then we see here, yeah, he gets the leftover recovery 40%. I had 37% on this E-speed. I had 35% on this E-speed. And then Arcanine, bang, picks up the KO 40% to continue the rise. And we see here, I think that was my last win, right? So that was like the best opponent I'd played all day. And obviously it was very lucky. Arcanine living on 1% was absolutely insane, but that was a very, very good game there by my opponent. And obviously, yeah, too, you just saw, I think the power of that late game Roaring Moon really shined through there. So looking at my opponent's team here, the major threat I first saw here was the Pulp Colossal, right? I think obviously everyone looks at it and thinks that is some scary stuff. So what do I lead into the Pulp Colossal? Well, that was my Flutter main and that was my Torkoal. Now, I did consider clicking Trick Room here. I almost did it. I was really, really close. But I was like, you know what? Under Sun, I'm faster than Dragapult. Like, I know I'm faster than Dragapult. So we see here, the photosynthesis kicks in. I get the plus speed. He goes Terrestrial Fire. And then me being the idiot I am, did not see the Focus Sash. Yeah, I didn't think about it. I don't know why I didn't think about it. But then we see here, obviously, the Surf comes out. Now, obviously, quite scary. It's about to activate the weakness policy, I believe. Yep, so +4. This is looking like an absolute threat. But, yeah, Flutter main goes down. And unfortunately for me, Dragapult's sitting there. And the worst part at this stage is I can't even click Fake Out on the Dragapult. So, big swap out by my opponent there, obviously. And the Protect. Now, this was huge because obviously the Fake Out was going into the Colossal. Now, this left me in a very interesting spot. Thankfully, that was a very nice crit we got there. But so I go out into the Arcanine here just to lower the attack of the Gyarados. And we go for the Protect, very big for me there. And he goes for the Dragon Dance. Now, this was very, very scary. I bring Iron Hands back out. I go for the E-Speed onto the Coal. It does no damage. My opponent sets up another DD and he one-shots my Arcanine. Now, things start getting really, really scary here. So I go out to the man, the myth, the legend, the Roaring Moon. Now, the big reason why I split Iron Hands in the turn before is because Fake Out. Now, my opponent obviously knew that. He makes a very, very smart move here, which is the Double Protect. I read the Double Protect and raise him a Dragon Dance. Now, obviously here, we go for the Terrestrial Steel, and the main reason here we actually go for the Terrestrial Steel, one, I actually didn't think I was going to outspeed the Colossal there too. I didn't think I was going to outspeed Colossal, sorry. But two, because I had a feeling he wouldn't go for the Fire move because obviously I'm a Dragon. So he Terrestrialized into Steel. Somehow I outspeeded, obviously showing the speed of the Roaring Moon here, obviously. I thought for sure I was going to be slower than the Colossal, but I guess I wasn't. But Roaring Moon picks up a quick double KO. Now, all of a sudden, this game that looked incredibly scary looks not super scary anymore. And then here we go to Umbreon just to tank whatever's coming in. We see the Helping Hand come out and the Breaking Swipe. Now, this was really sad. Obviously, it lives on 5%. Not the best, unfortunately. Like, I just missed out on the KO. He's about to fire off a very, very powerful Boom Burst here. Sorry, an Overdrive, my bad. Obviously drops me to 51%, pretty scary, but now the Gardevoir comes in and he just forfeits the game. Look, understandable by my opponent here. At this stage, Iron Head was obviously going to kill the Gardevoir. Snarl was always going to pick up the Toxtricity kill, and then it was just going to be Roaring Moon versus 3. But as you can see here, obviously, Roaring Moon just does so much damage. Like, this one, honestly, just put us on the back there. What looked like a super, super scary game that I did not think I had any business winning, Roaring Moon just turns around and all of a sudden, a hard game is just a free win. Now, for this one here, this was a very interesting game. So you look at my opponent's team, and it does, you know, no offense to him, it doesn't look very good, right? It looks like a pretty bad team. But when I looked at it, the thing that I feared the most was, okay, look at his first two mons, Amoonguss, and he's got the Oranguru, right? Trick Room. That was my instant thought. So obviously, the first thought is always, always, always we bring out the Flutter main. And then two, I thought maybe bring out the Roaring Moon. Basically, the plan here was to go for the Trick Room and Prism and a DD. Then you see my opponent here, he does some whack shit. I don't know what he was thinking here. Like, I protect just to see what was happening. And then this is what scared me. The Rattled Dunsparce. Sorry, the Dunsparce. This, man, this shit was wild. Just look at the screen. You just look at the screen. It's just filling up, right? I generally thought, I'm like, this is over. I consider, like, do I just quit? Like, is it done? Like, what do I do here? And then he clicks coil. He doesn't attack. He clicks coil. And then he protects. And now this is the crazy thing, right? So I don't know what I was thinking here. I'm pretty sure I attacked it at unsparse, just thinking, like, my whole mindset was like, well, one of my mods is going to hit him, yeah? You see, Breaking Swipe comes out. Obviously, I don't hit the unsparse, but I do get that off. And then I set up the Trick Room. Now, sorry, I didn't mean to skip that far ahead. So the whole reason I set up Trick Room here was I'm like, this is my only shot. This thing's +4 speed. It's my only shot. Like, this thing 100% outspeeds me. There's nothing else I can do. I set up the Trick Room, and this is where the Flutter Mane Trick Room came in massive. Right, so here's the crazy thing. So we see there, yeah, I hit the Breaking Swipes. It's great. I lower the attack. Then the Shadow Ball comes out, fantastic, picks up the KO before the unsparse does anything. And then the Oranguru Trick Room, he reverse Trick Room for me after I'd killed his unsparse, and he just straight up quits. Like, I don't blame him, right? My opponent's team was very, very odd, but like that there, I think that they just showed the power of Flutter Mane and why I think the Trick Room in Prison set is really good. Like, obviously, this is such a niche scenario. Like, it's not very often you're going to be trying to, you know, stop a dunsparce from sweeping you. But, you know, just to be in a situation like this where I actually got to click Trick Room when I have two, you know, base 119, 135 mons, like insanely quick mons. But I click Trick Room and it actually wins me a game. Absolutely insane. And for this game here, when I looked at my opponent's team, I just looked at Umbreon and I was like, Umbreon is just going to go crazy here. And the other Mon 2 that I thought would go absolutely insane was actually the Flutter Mane. So as you've seen in every single match so far, I tend to just always lead Flutter Mane. I think this thing is absolutely insane. And I pair it up here with the Umbreon. Now, obviously, just look at this damage, right? Like, obviously, yeah, it's like a Grim Style, whatever. Like, Light Screen did 60%. I'm not modest. I'm like not that heavily invested. Did 60. And then we click the Calm Mind. Now, this is also here. This was really dumb of me. I do not know why I didn't think my opponent was going to click the Trick Room. Obviously, you look at my opponent's team, yeah? Like, it's clearly a Trick Room team. I just didn't see it coming. But at this point, though, at least Umbreon is starting to set up here. Obviously, we're going to see him here switch out to Skeledude. He parting shots into the Flutter Mane, which is absolutely fine. And the Snarl comes out, pretty good chip damage on both of them, but what my opponent does not expect here, and again, going back to what I was saying before, the Trick Room on Flutter Mane is just so good, and then bang, look at that damage, man. At -1 against this thing, and then bang, Snarl comes out, picks up the KO. The Skeledirge doesn't get to do anything. I've just reduced the Rascal's stuff, clicks Trick Room again, very interesting by my opponent. Not sure what he was thinking there, and then we got to the Arcanine. Main reason, we're just trying to nerf this thing as much as we can. And then I also go to the Ghost type here, so I just want to touch on this, right? So this is, I think, the only time I ever clicked it. And now I don't know if it actually ends up paying out for me. I just assumed like a CC was coming into Umbreon, right? Obviously, kind of dumb because you'll see here, I think he ends up attacking Arcanine. But this is the reason I went Ghost on Umbreon, right? So click the Snarl, does its thing, whatever. You know, reduces the special attack. Wait, what happened there? What did I miss? Hold on. Am I an idiot? What happened here? Click Bug Buzz. Oh, okay, I didn't even see that. He Iron-Headed the Arcanine. Okay, that's why I did the swap. Jeez, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm like, what happened? He did nothing. But that's what happened. Okay, so he Iron-Heads the Arcanine. Pretty decent all-round play, I guess, there for me. But then, obviously, we get to see here, I just click Calm Mind again. I just don't care about my opponent's strat at all. And then we bring out the Beast. Now, obviously, my opponent set up the Trick Room for me this game. But this is where you see Torkoal under Trick Room really just start to do a lot of work. I mean, this mon's kind of just insane. It's next to a +2 Umbreon. He goes for the Helping Hand. I don't know why. Eruption just KOs it. Very easy. I do want to state, like, real quick, obviously, Light Screen's up here. Dude, that did nothing to Cudchew. Like, absolutely nothing. Like, sorry, oh, stuff like that. Look at this, man. 35% in the sun. Like, yeah, Light Screen's up, but my God, 35%? That shit's insane. Obviously, we see the Snarl come out here to, he had the Cobble Berry there to reduce it. But at this point, the game is essentially done. The Helping Hand comes out now. Obviously, really good damage. One, how the hell did this thing live it? That's a super effective Eruption in the sun. Don't know how he lived that, but he lives it nonetheless, and he actually gets the Seed Sower up there, which means he gets his stuff. He gets his Grassy Terrain, he gets the Weakness Policy too, and picks up the KO. But once again, the Umbreon just firing off Snarls. Also, super interesting here. I don't know how this thing, like I'm +2, yeah. How did it live that? That's actually kind of wild. Like I know it's got a lot of special attack, but 14%, sorry, 11%. That's actually insane. Anyway, my opponent's under Trick Room here. I bet he's feeling pretty good. He brings out the Grim Snarl, but it doesn't matter. I got Iron Hands, man. Catch these hands, brother. See that? Bang. We get the flinch out, and then we get the Snarl out. Obviously, the Trick Room did just end. I think I kind of misspoke there. I think I said there was one time in Trick Room. There wasn't. Trick Room ended. And Iron Hands comes out. He gets the Fake Out off, obviously, here before Devon does. And then my opponent at this stage, it's just done. Yeah, he just forfeits. The Umbreon was just way too big. Like, you see this thing, it's +2. It sat on the board the whole game. It did just a lot of work. Like, this Umbreon honestly was like the MVP in some games. But yeah, guys, that'll be it for the wrap-up of this team. Obviously, again, a very powerful team. I'll drop it down below if anyone wants to try it out. But basically, the takeaways from this is Umbreon, I think, is going to be very good in the upcoming format. I think if it's a game where Snarl is good, Umbreon is just always good, especially with Calmline. Like, you see how bulky that thing is. And then the other two is these Paradox forms are absolutely insane. I think Fluttermane is going to be really damn good. Obviously, it's a ghost type, can't be hit by a Fake Out, which means on lead, it just puts on so much pressure. And then obviously, too, we see Roaring Moon here. This was a very bulky set. I didn't like play like, you know, obviously like some like Adamant, like Dragon Dance set. I played, you know, I think I was, maybe I was Adamant, but obviously I was quite slow. But maybe in the future, I'll try up a very fast Roaring Moon. But anyway, guys, yeah, that's it for this one. If you guys have got anything else you guys want me to try, I guess, let me know down below. I wanna try an Ice team as well. Sorry, a Hail team or Snowstorm team now with Frostmoth and Titan. I think it sounds super, super fun. But yeah, anyway, guys, make sure, please, any suggestions, let me know. But I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.